If someone was to come to you and say, how do I find my happiness?
Okay.
How do I find what's going to fulfill me in life? Like, what would your answer to them be?
Menovation. I would ask what the end goal is. Like, what do you want to accomplish in your life? Like, if you want $10,000 in your bank account and, you know, a new pair of Nikes, and
Sure.
that's what brings you joy, then what is your aim? Like, what are you trying to do with that? What do you, like Tyson was saying, find out what your root is, right? Like, why do you need that? Why does that make you happy? I would say ask why. I mean, I think the founder of Toyota was the one that said you have to ask why 5 times to get to your root cause.
Wow, that's good.
And find out what are you chasing after? Why are you chasing that? And is that really going to make you happy? And if it isn't, then set your standards a little higher, right? Like,
wow.
Yeah, I would say stop chasing after things that bring you temporary happiness and invest in things that bring you joy over time.
That's good. Yeah.
I mean, I could be completely happy in a cabin in the woods with nothing else around me because I don't need anything else to confirm or, you know, affirm me. I'm fine, you know, with who I am because I have my identity and I know who I am and I know who my creator is. I know who my father is. I know I am loved. I know I'm the son of a king, right? So like
you've invested in yourself.
Yeah.
You've invested in
And so like I don't have $10,000 in my bank account just sitting there, and you know I don't walk around in like $150 pairs of Nikes, but I'm happy. Like I don't chase after those things because those things don't really bring me joy.
Yeah.
The things that bring me joy are like my kids, my family, and my community. I love life with my community, and even if I had a cabin in the woods in solitary, you know, nothing else going on, I'd probably want to bring like
everybody there.
Yeah. You know, so,
I think about that time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna move to the middle of nowhere, but then I'm like, well, might be lonely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I and this is why I talk to random people all the time, is because I love people. Like people bring me joy, and so yeah, I would say set your compass on something much further out, and much higher than the temporary things that bring you happiness.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the happiness is bad. Like it's good to have those moments of happiness, but what you do with this, like before we started the podcast, Tyson and I were talking about business, and Tyson was saying, you know, the money you make initially in your business, you invest it back into the business.
Yeah.
You don't take a paycheck.
Yeah.
You invest it back in the business. And for me, happiness is the same. Like those little things that bring you happiness, I would say take that and invest it into something that brings you joy over time. Right? And if it is a cabin in the woods, then save your money and buy yourself a cabin in the woods, because that'll bring you lasting joy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Chasing the material things, that's okay, but it's not the end goal, right? Like it can be like checkpoints and rewards for you for doing the thing that truly brings you joy. But for someone who was asking, how do I find my true happiness and joy? Well, I would probably ask them, well, what makes you happy? What do you like doing?
Sure.
Right? And whatever that may be, what are you good at? What are you naturally good at? And things that you're naturally good at actually can develop over time. But, you know, kind of scan yourself, figure out what that is, and then start doing that thing with the end of serving people through that gift or that skill in mind. Like, don't focus on the pay raise and that stuff that as checkpoints, but focus on serving people with your skills, with your gifts, whatever you're good at. Serve people, and those things will come naturally.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if you're operating the way you're supposed to, the way you were built, you're wired a specific way, well, then you can do things better than other people in certain things, right? Well, do that thing in service of others.
Yeah. And you're going to worry so much about other people.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just do what you're good at,
right,
in service to others, and you're going to find that the money will come.
Yep.
And you'll be able to buy those things that you want, that make you happy.
Right.
And at the end of the day, that's going to be true happiness.
Yeah.
You're going to be fulfilled doing that.
I think I would actually say both of what you said. Like, what's the end goal, right? Because that's always, you always have to think about that. And what are you investing to reach that end goal? Obviously, like, we're kind of in this stage of our lives where all of us a little different, but we're trying to figure out how do we invest long term to where we have multiple streams of income, and we have retirement and all these things. I think it's the same thing. Are you investing in yourself? Kind of like a little bit what you're talking about. Are you dealing with your inner demons? Are you dealing with the issues that you have? That's always been a big thing for me, is not playing the victim card with the journey that I've been through and figuring out, what am I doing wrong? How can I improve? How can I get better? That brings me a lot of joy and happiness, because then I tend to, not always, I'm still human, but I tend to have a less of a tainted lens on about what my reality really is, right?
It's empowering too.
Yeah, because it's like, what did I mess up on? What could I do better? And sometimes it's a little depressing, right? Because you're like, well, I suck a lot. But even if you're in the cabin in the woods by yourself, your demons you're still going. They're still going with you, right? And if you don't deal with those things, if you don't attempt to walk through those things, they're going to follow you. And I've noticed so many relationships destroyed because of pride, right?
Right.
Or whatever. So that'd be my one thing, is like, figure out, like what you were saying, what are you built for? What's the end goal? But then figure out how to achieve that and put those things into your life. Because without a vision, we will perish.
Yes.
Bible says this a lot. And I think that is all connected to your happiness, your fulfillment, your identity. Because I've noticed different times in my life when my dreams and my vision have been destroyed from different things, I was a lot more depressed. And I didn't chase anything. I didn't have any drive. Like, that's one thing I've struggled a lot with my life, is being complacent and lazy. And I think a lot of that is from not having vision. Because if you don't know where you're going, you just tend to hang out, right? And play video games or whatever you're doing.
Right.
Do party and do drugs. And but that's been a big thing for me, especially in the last couple of years. It's like, where am I going? What do I want? What am I built for? That's been another big thing. What am I built for? How can I serve people? That obviously brings a ton of joy to you, whether you realize it or not. And then obviously, how can I serve my wife? How can I be a better dad? All these things. But having a vision, knowing where you're going, having a roadmap, I think really unlocks true fulfillment for you personally. Because like you said, it is still going to be tailored to you individually. But tying it to stuff like your identity is short-lived. For one, your identity changes. Who you are changes. You may identify as whatever right now, and then you realize it doesn't really matter. Because at that point you're seeking fulfillment, and you're seeking affirmation from other people, which will always leave you empty.